When we left off last episode, the catering service was broken. I regret to report it is still broken and I cannot figure out why. Everything looks correct to me. The road network is definitely fine. I've checked with the path analyzer. Vehicles can get from here to here. They can get from here to every one of these stands. There is no reason that I can find, at least, for that service to be failing. As a result, I ended up reporting it as a bug, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens in that space. While I was trying to figure all of that out and playing around with other bits and pieces, I built some cafes and shops in this part of the terminal. I built some more bathrooms, and that's most. Oh yeah, and I did the flooring. So it's no longer just that same bland grey concrete that the game builds when you put down terminal floor like there. I think that's about it. Everything else is pretty much as you saw it last. I've scheduled some new flights and progressed, I think, about a day through the game. Yeah, so carrying on from there, because we now have this lovely space opened up. I still think at the moment that I'm keeping this runway, but it may get moved. Don't know yet. We'll figure it out as we go. One thing that's definitely going to happen though is this hangar needs to go. It's just in too inconvenient a place. I can have medium flights make use of that large hangar for the time being. It's just going to be easier to do that while I figure out whether I can fit a hangar in this gap or not. The reason I say that, if I flip the map around, I am going to chuck in a large runway here, which obviously I can't do right now because there's a hangar and a road in the way. Once they're gone, I can actually put this down and figure out the taxiway for it, and we'll go from there. Back to normal view so I don't get confused. There are some things we really need to be careful about when we're building our new terminal. First one being that the public roads connect, second being service roads connect, and so on down the line. So footpaths, making sure there are hangars available in the terminal, making sure there are vehicle depots and fuel, etc. It's going to take us a while to figure all of that out. And I thought you might be interested to watch along as I'm doing it so that you can actually understand the thought process behind it. On the one hand, I'm trying to maximize what little space I have, but on the other hand, like I say, I'm having to keep track of all of those extra factors to make sure I am building an airport that's going to function. Cool. Alright, we now have room for this. I can put it... Now let's go back to the other view, it's too hard to do that way up. Let's see. Yeah, that's as far into the corner as I can place it. And then we need to think about ramps. Large planes are going to have to go on here. I may run medium planes off this runway. I'm cautious because I don't know how many plane stands we're going to end up with. This isn't really a big space for a terminal, so it might not be terribly many. And I'm going to put the other end of the ramp there for now. And with the way the game works in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just in terms of map size, I can't really put the taxiway quite where I want it because there's hangars in the way. So I guess now I need to move that one as well. I'm facing upside down, aren't I? Yes, I want that view. That's better. Okie dokie. If I were to put taxiway foundation here, I could delete. No, not that way. I could switch that off and demolish it. And cross my fingers in the hope that we're not going to have any emergencies while that's not there. Bear with. Okie dokie. So, while we're waiting for that, I may as well get some more plane scheduled in. Our large flights are largely taking care of themselves at the moment. Medium ones are mostly full. Should be able to, if it will let me, thank you, slot that in there. And probably there. If you've just joined for the first time, you might be wondering why I'm manually assigning flights. I've essentially got the auto planner off for most of these stands at the moment because I'm trying to get rid of the 1-star contracts. And speaking of which, if I go back to today, we're up to 11-ish, so where are we? Mental blank. Right, 11, yeah. No, today's Sunday, that's why I'm confused. I'm fairly certain, if I look through this, we've got rid of Stripe. Yeah, I don't see any flights for Stripe anymore. I know there aren't any large ones, they don't do large flights. I should therefore be able to go to my economy and say, wherever Stripe Air is, there we go. Cancel contract. Yes. Goodbye. Now I want to do the same with Goose Wings, Jumper, and Coast to Coast, but we haven't quite got there yet because they've still got flights scheduled. In fact, Coast to Coast has a lot. Yeah, we're getting there slowly. Let's chuck some more of these in while I'm... Nope, that's not going to work. Chuck it over here. While I'm waiting for runways and things to be built. I think that's mostly done now. No, still going. Okay. Actually, the more important thing, that has been removed. Excellent. Give me a hangar, please. Large. Hard up against there. And hey presto, that's just enough to make that 7 wide and therefore the, in air quotes, correct size. By correct size, all I really mean is it's the same size as the ramps. The wings of the planes are going to clip through various objects. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, we'll leave that as... I'm probably going to regret connecting that up. Let's disconnect that. That was actually the pathing to the old hangars. We don't want that anymore. We want this line instead. The reason I don't want them connected is because I don't want planes all the way over here coming along, driving all the way along there, and then using this runway after driving all the way to the bottom of the map. That would be very unhelpful. Very unhelpful indeed. Now, I just noticed something. Oh no, it's not so bad. I thought the fence was going up the wrong side of the runway there. Strangely, the fence isn't actually connected. Let's fix that. I expect at some point I'm going to punch a new public access road through there somewhere, but until I work out where, we can have a fence. So the last thing you really want is a horse or cow or other animal getting in the way of a 747. I'm sure that wouldn't be a pretty sight. Now that is switched off and should probably stay that way for now. Let's switch into planning mode and start thinking about plane stands. What I would love to do, and it may end up having to be something that happens in some future airport rather than this one, I would love to be able to do, let's say, a large stand there. Let's put 2 just for demonstration. And then medium stand on the opposite side of the terminal, so that you end up with, well, slightly over 3 medium stands for every 2 large stands. I think that will look really cool. It lets me make use of mediums being ground floor with the large being first floor and that sort of thing. You can have stair cars on one side, but sky bridges on the other. I think that'd be really awesome. I just don't know if we have the space, because there's really not a whole lot of space left. So unless I connect a taxiway down here, let's pencil that in. If I do put a taxiway here, connected into, I don't know, there, this space sort of becomes dead. We could potentially use it for, I don't know actually, what could we use it for? It could potentially be the entrance to the terminal, then use Skybridge over the top into security and all of that. Alternately, it could be a couple of remote stands. It could be, where are we? Could be a few medium remote stands, but quite frankly, I've got that many remote stands over here. I'm kind of sick of that mechanic for the moment. I don't want to deal with it. If I do have that as the entrance, at least it makes the public access road more convenient, because I wouldn't have to have an entrance on this side. In fact, all I'd really need to do is just take out that car stop and punch a hole through. Put some more subways in, that sort of thing. That may prove to be the right answer. If we do that, it leaves us with all of this space for taxiways and terminal and plane stands. I kind of like this idea. Let's get rid of that for the moment, because that's just an example. The other thing I want to do, having seen how much my planes are getting backed up, is I want to do what airports do. If I make that, oh, let's not make it 7 by, let's go 5 by 7, then 7 by 7. That's 7, right? Yeah, cool. So what you generally see is there's taxiways, essentially one heading north, the other heading south. That way you don't end up with the madness that we've got going on here, where this plane might get held up by that one reversing out. In fact, it is held up by something. What's it held up by? It's held up by this GA flight trying to get to that runway, because they're all trying to use the same little bits. And honestly, that one should have been able to get in before the GA flight even got to that point. For some reason, the GA flight got priority. Not quite sure why, if I'm honest, but hey. Alright, let's say this is what we're actually going with. We could then expand this so that it is 5 wide, like it's meant to be. And then, I guess, do the same sort of thing, right? We could make it there. 5 by. And it doesn't necessarily need to connect there. I've just penciled that in because I may want to make use of the same hangers. Don't know, we'll have to work it out as we go. Alrighty, that could actually get moved further along and give me a tiny bit more room down the bottom. See if that works out usefully or not. Oh, speaking of which, the other thing that got moved between episodes, the air traffic control tower was up in this top corner. It's now over here next to the waste disposal. Alrighty, let's pretend that terminal entrance is here. And then you've got a sky bridge that pops you over like this, probably there-ish. Then you can have your ground floor. Yeah, this is going to get really tricky. Okay, you would need to put in these first. So if we find large, that way around, try to maximize the space. Alright, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not bad. We do, however, either need to connect up to that hangar, or let's have a look at the options in operations. Distribute evenly, or what's the other option if I pause for a second? Always fetch the nearest. I think if I leave it on that option, that might solve the problem of planes trying to use the wrong runway. I've never honestly used that option before. I'm a little bit apprehensive about switching it on. Okay, let's just keep assuming that that's all going to fit and be hunky-dory. And as soon as I said hunky-dory, I started thinking of Dory in Finding Nemo. Let's not have that. That's just not the image we want for our airport. Yeah, this is getting ugly. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. Let's take out most of that for the moment. And same on this floor. Yeah. You're just going to have to accept that the game isn't giving me enough map. Therefore, I'm having to basically work around that limitation. I would prefer to have these further apart, have a wider terminal, all sorts of things, but I've got to work with what's available. I could make these gaps smaller and push things out further. I could honestly just work with single lane, single tile wide taxiways, but there are limits to how far I'm willing to push that. Let's assume for the moment that this is going to fit. Terminal foundation on ground floor, yep. Like so. All the way down to here. Then all of that. Then on this floor, it just needs to connect there. I could take out that bit to make it slightly more realistic. I could actually just redraw that section. So the idea, enter the airport, come upstairs, go through security, possibly we might be able to have some of check-in down here. I don't think we're going to be able to fit all of it. I mean, if you compare this size, 13 by 11. Oh, maybe we can fit it all there. So, walk in, limited seating, check in, upstairs to go through security, then passport control, and then to this space here. Possibly going up another floor, possibly going back down to ground floor, depending on what you're trying to get to. Because the other thing I'd like to get into this airport at some point is passenger lounges. Now, the other thing that was on my mind in between is, should I try to cut this back to there, thereby saving a little bit of space here, opening up more space that I could potentially use for something else. Don't think it's going to matter. And I don't think it's going to be worth trying. Not sure just yet. Let's see. I have a little checklist here. Let's see. We got public roads. Well, that's just going to extend there. Service roads. Yes. Service roads can connect on there for the moment. That way the two halves of the airport are connected, even if it's not a pretty connection. We might need to link it up down here as well. In which case that bit needs to go. Oops, try that again. I honestly expected to have to draw this and redraw it 100 times, and it's actually working better than I thought it would. I have medium planes using this runway, large planes using that runway. How many did I end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 and 9. I don't think that's going to go nicely into our baggage bays. And baggage bays are a complication. Let's make this secure for a second. No, I said secure zone. Thank you. Right. Let the game think about that. There we go. If that's a secure zone, I can then actually draw these in. Let's say there's one facing that direction for there and there. That would take care of the large stands quite happily. What it won't do is take care of any of the medium. And judging by the difficulty I've seen over here, which, well, there's no traffic jam there right now, but there frequently is a traffic jam. I don't want to put my baggage bays facing north or south when they're trying to service both sides. It just doesn't seem to work very well. But if I do that, okay, we have options. If we get rid of all these interior walls and wait for the autosave, right, that would have to be secure. Chuck a baggage bay in. How many can they take care of? It's 1.5 per, isn't it? 1.5, yeah. So they can take care of 8. And I have 9. I will want to fit one of those up the top somehow. And actually that might work. If I grab this again, let's shift that one further up and back it onto this one. This door is going to be accessed from the second floor. This door is going to be accessed from the first floor, and I just need a wall across there. Which I won't draw in fully right now because I've got enough secure zones as it is. I don't think the game likes having tons of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 baggage bays. That works. And we can do our usual trick of having, well, I say the usual trick. In this airport currently, baggage handling is there. It's not underground. I was about to say our usual trick of putting them underground. Apparently I've broken my usual trick. Okay, that space is dead at the moment as far as this floor is concerned, but I'm sure we'll find a use for it as we go along. The only thing that continues to worry me is the terminal zone marking and the hangars. I don't know how well it's going to handle the fact that hangar is in one terminal or the other. If I go like this and disconnect that, I really don't know how that gets handled. Let's get rid of this as well and actually take it back to, I think we can go back off the road as well. Take it out of there, like so. Want a nice defined gap between the two terminal zones. So I've got a feeling some of the pathing errors come from having someone say, let's get out of that, if someone's standing here and they want to get up to this corner, it tries to draw a straight line from one point to the other and sees that actually terminal 1's in the way. Maybe I need to go into terminal 1 to get to. Ugh. You and I know that's not the right path, but the game, I think, sort of reverse engineers the paths. It starts at one point, looks at the other end, tries to draw a straight line, and then adjusts accordingly. I don't know. Maybe someone can chime in and actually tell me how that works, but that's the feeling I've been given somewhere along the way. Other things that could be an issue are waste depot, emergency services, and fuel. Pretty sure fuel can be agnostic. In fact, it's already agnostic, so that's great. Catering is currently agnostic. Ooh. Yes, catering. I do not want trucks having to come from there, or worse, over here, drive all the way there and then back again. I want catering in here somewhere. Where? That's going to be tricky. Plane services, catering, downstairs. Yeah, it can't go under the ground. I may simply just have to lose a couple of medium stands, and honestly, that's not the worst plan. For the moment, that's what I'm going to say. We'll get rid of those two. We'll put our second catering depot in here. Oh, it needs public access. Yeah, there is no good way to handle that. Yeah, I'm still going to put it there. Unless I come up with a better idea at some point. It's going to be connected here. Let's go back a couple of squares. It can start there. It can be... Actually, no, that's not going to fit. Also, I thought I was in planning mode. Put it right up the top, because I think I don't have enough room if I don't do that. We would need a service tunnel. No, not a service tunnel, a public tunnel. Right there. And that road is going to be ugly, because it needs to go all the way down here. Possibly a bit further. Let's just draw from the other end. Where would I connect it? I would connect it... there, I guess? Or... it's going to be low traffic. The only cars going in there are going to be the catering trucks. Yeah, can go in there. Take an immediate turn, like so. So they drive in, they drop off the raw food, and then drive out again and never touch anything else. It would give me the option then of having another tunnel pop up somewhere. Damned if I know where right now, but somewhere. Running out of time and running out of space. This is the design as it stands right now. We will continue refining this in the next episode. Bye-bye.